Okay, so let's get started. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Huang, and I'm the director of the student survey. Just a very quick note before we start. So this welcome section will be recorded so that the EERA attendee who couldn't join us live can watch it later. So if you rather not appear in the recording, so you are very welcome to keep your camera off. And by staying in this section, so you're consenting to the record. Thank you very much. Okay, before we continue, I would like to acknowledge that we are honored to have our EERA president with her today, Dr. William. Thank you very much for joining the virtual welcome section. So we truly appreciate your leadership and the support our EERA community. Dr. William, do you want to say a quick hello to our audience today?
Greetings, everybody. We're excited about seeing you all next week down in Clearwater, Florida. And thank you for hosting this session. And I'm glad to see so many people responding. We had a good turnout last year, and it looks like we have as good or better turnout this year. So thank you. And if you have any questions, I'm sure we'll be able to answer them in this session.
Okay, I think we also have a Dr. Kenda, and she's our previous EERA president. So, Dr. Kenda, do you want to say a quick hello to our audience?
I will. Hi, everyone. I'm going to echo what Willie said. We're so glad that you, at least we think at this point, are going to attend next week's conference. And hopefully here there's still snow on the ground. I imagine it's the same where some of you are, but I think I've looked ahead and we're going to have some warm weather, thankfully. And I see a few familiar names, not too many faces, but I see some familiar names. So it's good to have you all back.
Thank you so much. And Jessica, are you here? No? Okay. Okay, so let's get started for today. So with that, let's take a look at what is this welcome section we'll cover today. So here, what we will do together in this short section. First, I will help you to get oriented and answer some common questions that tend to come out before the conference begins. Second, I'm going to share a few quick practical tips for making your presentation more engaging and less stressful. The goal is not perfection, and it is a confidence and a clarity. Okay, before we go any further, so let's take a moment to check attendance and get to know who is in the room. So please introduce yourself. You can scan the QR code and you will see an Excel file. So you can type your information there, and I'm going to post the link so you can see the Excel file. Okay, so I'm going to post the link in the chat box. So you can type your information about your school, your name, your email, and then the topic you are going to present so we can build our community together. So after this section, I will email you the PowerPoint slide and also our information, all the information Excel file. So we can all make the connection together. Thank you. I see someone raise the hand. So, Dr. Nina, do you have any question?
Yes, when we click the link, it says it's view only, so it doesn't permit us to
Oh,
edit anything within the
okay. I'm so
file.
sorry. So, give me a second. Let me open the asset. I'm so sorry. Thank you for for this question. Thank you. So I repost the link in the chat box. So I think now you can add it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll try to.
Let's wait for 1 more minute. Okay, so let's move on. Thank you for sharing your information. And then we are going to move on to the next part. Okay, so before we start, I want to pause here. Do you have any immediate question about the conference, the schedule? Please feel free to type your question in the chat, and I will address the question as many as I can. So any question, you can feel free to raise your hand to ask a question. And then today we have Dr. William and Dr. Kenda. They are with us. So we are very happy to take your question here. So any question before we move on to our section? Okay, Dr. William, Dr. Nina.
Hi.
Hi.
So this will be my first EERA conference. And so my question, I'm doing a paper presentation. Can you just explain, and maybe you will, and that is, what you plan to do is kind of explain what the format of that will be, what will the space be, what type of materials will be there, should we bring those types of things?
Dr. William, can you answer this question?
Yes, for the paper, there'll be about 2 or 3 presentations in each room during each session. You need to provide your own laptop. We will have a projector and a screen. Any toggles that you need, like for Apple products, you need to bring. We don't have those. We can't keep up with the changes Apple keeps making with those. And there should be at each table, there should be a little pad of paper and a pen for taking notes.
Thank you for your answer. So I think that Christina also have the same question about the computer available for the paper presenter. So I will suggest you bring your own laptop. Yes. And then we also have another question, Jackson. The paper award get announced. Dr. William, can you answer this question?
It will get announced at the president's reception on Friday evening at the conference.
Okay, and also we have a carol. It's layer a hard surface to attach a poster if we bring in the row. I think we will have this one.
Yes, there is a poster board, kind of the trifold boards for the presentation.
I think we will have this one.
Yes, like
Yeah,
that.
and also we will have a table to put your poster. So any questions so far? Thank you. Okay, so let's move on for our section for today. Okay, frequently asked question. I think we already addressed this question. Do we need to bring our own laptop? Yes, we need to bring our own laptop. That can be more convenient for you to have your own laptop with you. So, and the next one, the second one, do we need to bring the paper material? No, you don't have to bring your paper material. So the EERA is a largely paperless. The most current information will be available on our website digitally. So this also give you more flexible and less to carry. Another common question is about the section size. So attendance can vary depending on the division, the topic, and the time slot. So some section can feel more like the small section, and you can have a more conversation with the presenter, while other may have a very large audience. Both formats are very like the normal at EERA conference. So no matter the size of the section, just remember that EERA, we are very supportive community. So the focus is on the learning, sharing your idea, and then making a professional connection with other, not on the delivery of perfect presentation. Okay, so any question? No, okay.
I want to add that as far as bringing paper materials, if you want to bring a handout, we encourage you to do so. We don't have a repository for papers for our website, but so I would suggest either being willing to share your email address or having a way that they can scan a QR code and get your paper or your document. But you can also bring hard copies. That's fine too.
Thank you, Dr. William. And let's move on to the next one. So the next one, let me ask you a question and feel free to react quietly or respond in the chat box. So have you ever attended a presentation that feel boring and hard to stay engaged? So you can type your answer in the one word to think about what kind of presentation that made you feel boring. So you can share in your chat box. Okay, so yeah, very good. Thank you, Christina. So the person who just read the slide, right? And they just follow every word on the slide. So the slide just like the presenter transcript, right? Very good. Thank you for your sharing. Okay, very good. And we have another one, share no interaction with the audience. Very good. So in the presentation, you can also ask the audience some questions. So you will have an interaction with the audience, right? You can make your audience more like engaged in your presentation. Very good. Thank you for all your share. Thank you so much. And let's talk about this one. Okay, so most of us have, right? So, and that is exactly why this next part matter. So, have you ever attended a presentation that feel boring? So, most of us have, right? And that is a completely okay. This is about this is not about blaming the presenter. Many of those presentations was grounding in the important and the meaningful research. Presentation often feel boring not because the research lack value, but because too much information, right, is presented all at once. Slide become overcrowded and the speaker feel rushed and the audience is not sure where to focus. So let's think about the next question. What actually makes it feel boring? Often it is not about the topic itself, right? Because we choose a topic that we are interested in. So he usually seeing like too much information on the slide, reading directly from the screen, right? Or feel rushed, want to cover everything, right? So now here the most important question on the slide. If you were the presenter, what could you change to make the presentation less boring? And he might be simplify the slide, slow down, focusing on the main idea, or connecting the research to the real experience. So this small choice can make the big difference for your audience. Purpose of the slide. So now we have to talk about why the presentation sometimes feel boring, right? Let's focus on the purpose of the PowerPoint slide. PowerPoint slide is not a presentation. The presenter is. You are the most important role in the presentation. Slides are the simple tool to support you. First, PowerPoint slides are meant to support the presenter. They are there to help you remember your key point. Stay organized and feel more confident as you move through your presentation. Your slide should work like the cue or the reminder, not the script. So you cannot just read every word from your slide. Second, slide help guide the audience through your main idea. The signal what matter most and help your audience follow the story of your research or presentation. Clear heading, simple visual, and a well-chosen keyword help your audience stay oriented and engaged. Third, slide helps set the path and the structure of your section. They create a natural line where to slow down and when to transition and when to move on to the next one. Well-designed slides help you avoid rushing at the end or spending too much time on the early section. And then finally, this is a very big one. Slides are meant to reinforce the presenter, not replace them. If everything you plan to say is already written on the slide, your audience doesn't need you to read aloud anymore. So your voice, your explanation, and your example are what bring the context to life. Keep this purpose in the mind will help us make the better choice about what to include and what to leave out on our slide. Okay, let's move on. Now we are going to talk about how PowerPoint slides should be used. Okay, so this point apply whether you are presenting a paper or the poster, or maybe you serve as a guest speaker in a conference. First, a presentation is not a video over the training module. You don't need to include every detail, definition, or explanation on your slide. Instead, think about your slide as a highlight or the signpost. Let's suppose what you are saying out loud. If someone could understand your entire study just by reading your slide, there are probably too much information on your slide. Your slide should be always tailored to your audience and the section context. A presentation for a small interactive paper section will likely differ from the one intending for a large audience or the poster section. Consider who will be in your presentation and the time you have available and the key takeaway you want them to remember. Third, the confidence come from your preparation, not for the perfection. It is completely okay if you don't cover every single point you plan or you need to revise for your past in this moment. Your audience is far more interested in understanding your idea than in a flawless delivery. Less is more. Less content allow for the more engagement. And finally, less reading is more. When your slide include less content or the few idea, you will create more space for the explanation, example, and also the interaction with the audience. Okay, so let's pause here. So any question so far? Okay, no. Okay, so
I don't have a question.
okay.
And I cannot find the little thing to raise my hand, but I'm always
Okay, so
technically challenged. So this is me raising my hand.
in the
I want to pop in here because of, the comment you made about confidence, which is really important. When you're attending these conferences for the first time and maybe the second, or maybe always, it's really normal to have some nerves. And I think we like to pride ourselves on being a really friendly, welcoming organization. And I think you'll find that typically everyone in the room, especially experienced presenters, will be very supportive. So this should be, let's say, more of a conversation, and the Q of A should not be an interrogation. And so with that, I'm gonna jump back for a moment and add to what Willie said, to answer the question about what to expect in these sessions. And this may not be the right place to say it, but we're here, and so I'm going to keep going. I'm too far in now to stop. A quick thing about logistics. Obviously, this conference is happening at a hotel, and so the breakout sessions are in a room, a conference room. I think maybe Willie, would you say they seat about 20-ish people, I guess?
That
And
sounds
you
about
may
right.
you may have 20 people there, you may have 5. But if you will, everyone should be presenting with, these are concurrent sessions, you should be presenting with other presenters. And so you'll have a session chair in the room that starts to guide the conversation. Each presenter or group of presenters will present for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then there'll be a Q&A that the facilitator, the session chair, will help lead. And I think there was one other thing that I was going to mention, and now I'm losing it. But I'll look at my notes and I'll come back to that later.
no problem. You can come back anytime. So
Thanks.
so you can just feel EERA, the community. We are all very friendly and we are all very supportive. So you don't have to worry about if you make the mistake, how can you do? Don't worry about it. So just share your idea, share your research with us, and we are learning from you. Yeah. Okay. So
I,
let's good.
I like to add something to follow up on Kenda following up on me. So I first presented at ERA just for ideas for my dissertation research over 20 years ago. And it was a very helpful audience who gave advice on topics, on articles I might want to see. So it was very helpful. And I think you will find that's the case. And when everybody who's there presenting, if you all stay in the room together and support each other, that's a really neat environment because I think you can get some good ideas for your research journey. Um, in addition, there will be other people there and you can get feedback from them. Also, reading some of the comments about presentations, some of these are presented by people who are new, and some are presented by people who have been doing this a long time and who might be getting ready for another presentation. So you might find that somebody's talking from their slides, or you might find that somebody's not even using slides, and you're going to find everything in between. So just like you will find from the people in your crowd, you will find that there's a lot of understanding and compassion. And we ask that for everybody. And I think it goes well at EERA. You will find it a very welcoming environment.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let's keep going. So if you have any question, just feel free to raise your hand or type your question in the chat box. And Dr. Vivian, Dr. Kenda, and I, we will try our best to answer your question. Let's move on. Okay, so transition. Okay, as you move from the slide to slide, ask yourself a few simple questions. What is the central message here? How does the slide connect it to the previous one? Does he move the story forward fluently? Clear transition help your audience stay oriented and reduce cognitive overload. Presentation skill. I want to spend a moment talking about the presentation skill because it is where many presenters feel the most pressure. So let me start with something important. There is no such thing as a perfect presentation. Even the most experienced scholar adjust their wording or skip the point or running slightly over or under time. That is normal. What is the matter? What matters most is not the perfection. It's clarity. Clarity matters more than the perfection. So it is not tending to include everything you know about your topic, especially when you work on the project for a very, very long time. But the clarity matters much more than the perfection. Your audience doesn't need to know all the detail. They need to understand your main idea. So it is okay to leave something out. You can always extend during the Q&A or the follow-up conversation. Complex ideas should be introduced step by step. Many conference presentations involve complex idea, theory, or methodology. When that is the case, it is helpful to introduce those ideas step by step. Break the big concept into the small pieces and give your audience time to process each one before moving on. Think about your presentation as a guideline your audience along a path, rather than asking your audience to jump to the destination all at once. Okay, and let's move on to the next one. So the next one, we are going to talk about what we should do for our PowerPoint slide presentation. So these are very small choices, but they can make a big difference in how confident you feel and how clearly your audience understands your work. Do plan and rehearse your presentation. First, do take time to plan and rehearse your presentation. This doesn't mean memorize the script. It can be very simple to let your audience to understand your main idea, your main point. And you also can know the time for your presentation, and you will know how to revise for your PowerPoint slide. Okay, and when you are practice even once or twice, you will feel more relaxed and better able to adjust if something unexpected happens. And do use the slide as a prompt, not the script. Second, do use your slide as a prompt, not a script. Your slide should be remind you what to talk about, not tell you exactly what to say. If you find yourself reading directly from the slide, that often it is a sign there is too much information on your slide. Your audience come to this section to hear you explain your work, not to read it from the slide. So, next one, to highlight the key idea clearly. Another important do is to clearly highlight your key idea, your key point. Ask yourself, if someone remember only one or two things from your presentation, what should they be? Use the highlight keyword or the simple visual so your audience know where to focus. Do connect your research to the real content. Whenever possible, do connect your research to the real example. For example, you can talk about your classroom experience and your practical experience, and that can be more connect to the real world. And this connection can make your audience see why your work matters, why your research important, and how it related to their own interest or experience. And next one, I would like to mention, do pace yourself and watch the time. So that's why prepare your presentation is very important because you can check your time. Finally, it is important to cover a few points clearly than to rush through too much idea at the end. Leave the time for the question often lead to some of the most meaningful conversation. Encourage close. If you keep this due in your mind, you already setting yourself up for the successful presentation. Even if everything doesn't go exactly as a plan, align with these due. These are also a few common pitfalls, like they are easy avoid. So let's look at some don't for the presentation. So the next slide, we are going to talk about what we should not do during the presentation. So these are the mistakes many of us have made at some point, including the experienced presenter. So this is not about adjustment. It is about awareness, okay? Don't overcloud your slide with the content. So the first thing, don't overcloud your slide with too much information. So when the slides are packed with a sentence or the known paragraph, so your audience will very easy to zoom out. So just remember, don't overcloud your slide. And next one, don't include the content you already know by your heart. So your slide should support what you are saying, not repeat it word by word. So if everything is already written on the slide and your audience doesn't need your explanation and you lost a chance to connect with them, okay? So don't include the content you already know by the heart. This is a very important. You should know about it. So just because something feel when you already know by your heart, you don't have to put in your slide. You can use your explanation to explain to your audience. And your audience can be more engaged with having the interaction with you. And focus on what your audience need to understand, not everything you know about the topic. And next one, don't rush through the slide to cover everything. Don't rush through the slide just to cover everything you already planned. When the presenters speak out at the end, audience often lose track of the main message. It is much better to skip a slide over the two and end with a clarity than the rush to overwhelm your audience. And don't forget to acknowledge the resource, the citation, the reference. So finally, don't forget to acknowledge your resource, citing the key reference, whether on the slide or you can use a QR code, let them to scan the QR code. They can directly to see your reference. So that can be the easy way to let the audience to find your reference. So this is you cannot do doing your slide. So if you avoid this common pitfall, your presentation will already feel clearly more engaged and more audience friendly. With this do and don't in the mind, so that can help you to have a very successful presentation. Okay, so let's move on. The next one, we are going to talk about the technology. Technology is here to support you, not stress you out. So do arrive at your section new at least 10 minutes earlier to get settled down and address any technical issue or like the setup need. Before the section begins, this gives you the time to load the slide and check the projector and settle in before the section starts. Have a simple backup plan in case something goes wrong. And remember, if layer is glitch, don't panic. We are all here to support you. And question. So let's bring us at the end of our main content. Do you have any question about the presentation, technology, or the conference in general? So we are very happy to be here to take a few questions now. Any question? I think we have a question from the Christina. How much time will each presenter have to present in their breakout section?
You have about 12 to 14 minutes with about 2 to 3 minutes for questions during a paper session. So for roundtables, it's a little bit more varied.
Thank you. And we have someone raise a hand. So Mahan, can you turn on your microphone?
Hello, Shani. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Very good.
Good.
Yes, good to see everyone. And I just wanted to, sorry, I was teaching earlier. That's why I couldn't join from the beginning. I just wanted to introduce myself to everyone. I am Mahmoud Abdurrahman, the Director of Awards. I've been with EERA since probably 2020 as a presenter in different roles. And thank you for this beautiful session, Shani, to put people together. And I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that sometimes one of the common questions is about technology failures and parking. So the hotel comes with parking if you have a rental car or if you drove to the conference. And two, also for the technology glitches, if anything goes wrong, we have many support people on board. But also, if you know your own MacBook requires that specific adapter, please make sure to have it with you. So if it's a generic, technology problem, we most likely we can handle it. But if it's something unique to your own device and you know or you expect that issue to arise, so please plan ahead and have that, adapter with you. Also, go ahead and email yourself the finalized PowerPoint version, just in case if anything happens to your own device, you can log in from another device and just keep going. It was also a good idea when presenters collaborated and they all emailed the presentations to one device so they don't have to, keep plugging and unplugging devices. So just one device for the whole 3 or 5 presentations, and they just, um, keep running all the presentations from one device. It also could be a good idea if you can show up, 5-10 minutes earlier to the room. Of course, if there's another session going on. So yes, Willie, yes, the session chair will also help with that. But also don't, take a few minutes early to make sure technology is running smoothly for you before you're about to present. Thank you so much, and good to see everyone. And if you have any
It's
questions about awards, feel free to email me. Good to see you, Shani.
yeah, happy to see you here, and we are so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Okay, and also we have someone raise a hand. So, Dr. Nina, can you turn on the microphone, please?
Yes, ma'am. So I wrote it in the chat. I see that there was a response that Kendra had to Christine, and I think if I understand correctly, so if my paper presentation is in the slot from 10:10 to 10:40, and I'm the second person in that room at that time, then I should expect to present around 10:30 to 10:45. Am I understanding that correctly? I see Kendra nodding. Okay.
Yes, yeah, and it's rough. I mean, sometimes it takes a little longer to transition from one presentation to the next. And again, the session chair will assist with that process. Sometimes presentations run a little over, as Jeannie mentioned. Sometimes they're a little short, but roughly that sounds about right.
Okay, perfect. I'm asking because I'm also presenting at a different conference virtually the same morning, and it ends
Oh,
at about 10:10. But if I'm second, then that should work out almost perfectly to give me about 20 minutes or so in between to, like you said, come 10 minutes early, make sure everything is set up. So I just wanted to make sure I had a good idea of what that might mean. So I appreciate it.
and sometimes if there's a conflict, and they do come up, sometimes presenters will ask the session chair, and then the other presenters, if they can go earlier, we can change the order. So if you're
Okay.
listed as second, maybe you can ask to go fourth, but that does mean showing up a little early to talk to the session chair.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your asking. And any questions so far? And thank you, Dr. William, for helping me to answer all the questions in the chat box. So far, I think we have another one, Dr. Pierce. Can you turn on the microphone?
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a quick question, and sorry if this is repetitive, but I'm just trying to get a better sense because I received some information via email that said that we would have about 20 minutes as a paper presenter. So, and then I just like read in the chat that you would have a total of 12 minutes. And then I think I also seen in the chat like 15 minutes. So I'm just trying to find a sweet spot because I practiced this week and I practiced for about 18 minutes. And so I'm just, trying to find a sweet spot of like what number I should aim at because, that with that amount of time, every second and minute counts. And so I want to go back and make sure I cut where I need to cut and all those different things.
I want to tell you that no matter what time it comes in at, you'll be fine. A lot of times, what happens is these sessions, one group goes a lot quicker and one group doesn't. And sometimes there might be 3 sessions or 3 papers slated to be presented, and sometimes 4. So it will depend on a lot of variables, but I assure you, you will be fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Also, any question? Okay, so let's move on. So, so the next one, what's next? Okay, so as we begin right now, I want to take a few moments to talk to you about what's next and how you can make the most your time at EERA. Attending the section that interests you and make the connection. The first, I encourage you to attend a section that very interesting you. And the EERA offer a wide range of the paper section, poster section, discussion. So follow your curiosity to choose the section you like. These sections are not just about listening. You are also have the opportunity to ask a question, exchange the idea, connect with other profession and who are sharing your interests. So don't hesitate to introduce yourself to the presenter or other attendee. So many meaningful professional relationships at the EERA begin with a simple conversation after the section. So extend the conversation beyond the section. That is very important. Second, some of the most valuable conversation at the EERA take place outside formal section. Okay, I'm encouraging you to extend your conversation by joining our informal dinner networking event or the small group discussion. So these settings are often more relaxing and provide the space to talk more deeper about shared interests and the research idea and the future cooperation. So highlight EERA network event. Okay, on the Wednesday evening, we will have a dessert and a discussion from the 7 o'clock to 7:45. So in this event on the Wednesday evening, so this is a guiding but not an informal conversation where you can join with your colleague and to discuss the current event or share your interest, share your profession area with others. This is like an informal evening event. Okay, and the next one, the Friday evening. The Friday evening is our award presentation and the president reception. So I also encourage you to attend the award presentation and the president reception on Friday evening from 6 o'clock to the 7:30 p.m. This is a very wonderful opportunity to celebrate our award winner achievement and connect socially as we close the conference together. So the section offer the variable of the food option, and it is a great space to the network, reconnect with other, and make the new member for our EERA community. So if you are attending the reception, don't forget to get your drink ticket. Okay, your first drink is on us. So EERA is known for the bringing very welcoming and the supportive conference. So we are very excited to meet you in person next week. Any question? So this is almost the end. Thank you for your attendance our virtual welcome section. So any question so far? Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so if we don't have any question, so I going to close this welcome section, and we are looking for seeing you in person at EERA next week.
Thank you, Chenye. Will you send a link to the recording and to
No
a
problem.
PDF of that PowerPoint
Yes,
for
no
all
problem.
attendees?
I
Is
will
that
send
possible?
all the document to our attendee today. So I also will share the recording to the Dr. William. And the Dr. William
Okay, perfect.
can send to the people who cannot join us today.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. I
Thank you so
appreciate it.
much, and I'm so happy to see you.
Good to see you again. Thank you.
See you everyone next week in person. Bye-bye.
See y'all.
Okay, let me start recording.